about a month when I got a phone call from a man who said he was representing the Australian government and asked me to fly to Dallas for an interview, for a job interview, and said that they would send me expense money and things like that, and tickets on the airline. So I came to Dallas, went to their office there, and it turned out they were recruiting people to work on the highway that they were planning to build around Australia. They said they were going to build a highway. It'd be the longest highway in the world, about 10,000 miles, and it would go around the perimeter of Australia. And based on my experience as a construction supervisor and aviation engineer battalion in Korea, they said they were looking for people with experience like that to move to Australia to become engineers on that project. And they gave me a pay figure which looked pretty good and everything, but the main thing that they said, well, it isn't the pay on this, it's the bonuses you can earn based on how much ahead of time you finish projects and all that. But it sounded too much like a carrot on a stick proposition, and I decided that I didn't really want to move to Australia. But that's my story about Australia, because as close as I ever got to Australia after that was drinking a Foster's beer. But the other day I found a recipe for Outback soup, a sausage soup and vegetables and things like that, and it looks so good that I tried it, and it was excellent soup. So I'm going to make a pot on video today and show you how to make Outback soup. It starts out with some red potatoes, and you want to dice those, just nice bite-sized pieces, and like this. I'll cut these a bit and dice the onion over here, and we'll start putting this puppy together. As I was telling you about my job offer to move to Australia, I thought about it, and I just didn't want to leave my parents that far behind, and this job was going to take years, and it would probably end up being actually migrating or moving to Australia. But I've often thought about it since then and wondered just what direction my life would have taken had I taken them up on the offer and took that job in Australia. It's not that I found anything wrong with the life I've had, but in fact it's been pretty darn good. I don't know if I know it would have been different had I moved down there, but Australia was kind of like Arizona in 1875 or something like that. It was pretty wild and unsettled, and not only going to build a highway, they were going to build a country. I'll get the pan and get started on this now. You start this soup with some oil in a pan. I'd say about a quarter of a cup, because we've got quite a few things to saute to begin with in here. Potatoes. start these because they have to cook a little longer than some other things, and get started with them. We'll let this start cooking and go from there. Well, it's 2:45, so it'll be finished in about the right time for dinner tonight. Well, this has been cooking about 15 minutes, and the potatoes are getting a little bit soft. They aren't ready to eat yet or anything like that, but the hardness has been taken out of them. So now I want to put in some garlic. Put in quite a bit of garlic here, and some oregano leaves. And some cumin. And finally, 3 or 4 bay leaves. Yeah, it's been 15 minutes. It's 3 o'clock now. That ought to be enough of those. Stir that around. That hot oil will make those herbs release their flavor. Now I have about a good tablespoon of flour. I want to put that in there and stir it into this oil to make a roux. That's going to give the soup some body, the liquid of it. I want to make that, and it won't be too much of a liquid. Stir this around here as it heats. Okay, it's getting a little doner, and the aroma coming off that is fantastic. So now I've got some zucchini. You can use most anything that you want. And normally I'd put carrots in there, but I don't have just carrots, so I have peas and carrots here. Got about a half package of them. Now I got them all out, and we'll stir these in. And let that heat up just a little bit. The next thing is a sausage. Now in Australia they call hot dog, what we call hot dogs, they call sausage. I didn't have any of those, so I had this skinless beef smoked sausage here, and I'm going to cut it in small bite-sized pieces to go in there. Put the sausage in there. And at this point I'm going to put in some chicken stock. Now you can use any kind of stock that you want. I just happen to have chicken, and so that's going to be it. Wonder if they make kangaroo stock. Never thought of that. I don't know if this is really Outback from Australia or from the steakhouse called the Outback. Okay, that's 4 cups of stock. And I'm just going to let that come up and come to a good simmer and taste it for salt and go from there. Well, it's been on a low simmer for about 30 minutes now, and the bay leaves have floated to the top, so this is a good time to remove those. Oh man, that smells good. That's just a little surprise you don't want to let somebody stumble onto as a bay leaf. One, two, three. Got another one in there. So there it is right there. Now they're all accounted for. Now the only thing it needs at this point is some greenery. That'd be kale or spinach or chard or just anything like that. I don't have any of it, so I've got some cabbage here. It'll work just as well. And I've checked it for salt, and it has plenty. I'm going to put the lid back on and let it simmer for about 20 or 30 minutes, and then it'll be ready to let rest until time for dinner, and we'll reheat it then for dinner. Okay, here it is on the table, all ready to eat, and looks good, smells good, and we're going to taste it, see how it tastes. Well, what you think of it?
Oh, I think it's very good. It's nice to get up from a dreary day from a nap and have a good hot bowl of soup.
Well, you've got the word of the expert now, so I pronounce it good. Well, I'll check it too. Doesn't need any salt or anything at all. Look.
No, Dad.
Get some of this broccoli here. Nice and crunchy, and a bite of the sausage. Well, that came out pretty darn good soup. And on a dreary day, it's hard to beat it. And so all I have to say is God bless America, God bless Texas, and God help Australia where they took their guns away. Thank God for the Second Amendment here. So all you folks have a great day, and hope it's as good a day for you as it is for us.